Today I'm going to teach you how to lock up a home. If you're new to the channel, my name's Justin Yaron. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur here in Las Vegas. I've made hundreds of videos teaching people about real estate, money, and self-development. And the goal of this channel is to help you grow your money and your mindset. So you're actually gonna be able to tune in with a conversation I'm about to have with a seller, and I already have a general idea of the situation. He's trying to help his son buy a home, and he's trying to use the funds from his sale of this home to help his son with the down payment. That's kind of the situation right now. That's where his pain is. He's an older gentleman. So I'm gonna call him right now, and this will be my first conversation that I have with him. My lead manager's been talking to him for 9 months, but I think he's finally ready to sell.
Hello?
Hey, it's Justin. I'm just following up because you spoke to my assistant Kenmar about your home on.
Oh, yeah, there you go, yeah.
Awesome. Probably catch you at a bad time.
No. As a matter of fact, I was just doing some work on some software work I'm playing around with here. Anyway, I was going to go outside and grab onto pull-up bars and pull-ups or whatever, mess around outside for a while. I've been sitting too long.
Oh, perfect. Well, I wanted to have a conversation with you about, buying your home, but before we even get further, can I share with you how these conversations normally go even?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, well, first off, thank you so much for even inviting me into your world. These talks typically go at least 45 minutes. Is that still a good amount of time for you?
That's too long for what I wanted to talk over with people. It's way too long. I mean, I'm the kind of guy, I've run companies, run a law office, editing, have a newspaper and so forth, and some of the questions that come to me, I can answer just like that. The question I have is pretty much just like that question. I don't want to waste anybody's time like I tell Kenmore.
Yeah, Kenmore.
It shouldn't take that long. It's a concept question. If you were to ask me, Britt, conceptually, can you fly with feathers to Mars? I'll get no. It's a pretty easy question because the concept is right there. The concept that I presented to Mr. Martin is a quickie. It's either something that can be done, yes, or no, it can be done. If it's yes, it can be done, then a longer conversation might be in the wind.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I understand now. Well, that shouldn't be a problem then if that's, you want to get more to the point. But typically, homeowners I talk to, they kind of want to know how the process works, how much money you're going to get, and when will you get your money. Did I miss anything?
Nope, that's what Kim and I talked about. I said, this is what I've got going on. Things have changed just a little bit. I'm not in a hurry to sell. I don't need to sell. If I'm going to wait it out, I have enough real estate friends and guys who have millions of dollars who've done a lot of shit in their life. Yeah, and I talk like that. I'm down at an old 50s bar with you, and I might say, motherfucker, I might say those words. If you can't say it, hang up right now, because I don't mind hearing it. I don't mind my friends calling me a cocksucker. It doesn't matter to me. We get along real well, so I'm not going to use those words often, but I just want to kind of let you know the lay of the land here.
Sure.
I'm not going to try to be too pretty correct about things. I like to not waste time, but here's what goes. Things have changed, and I don't need to sell this place at all. I'm doing fine and watching my equity go up and so forth all the time. It's getting paid for easy these days. All my major problems that would have allowed me to sink into a deep hole are taken care of now. We are now building a new frame of reference economically to what we can do. My son's credit and his money and his things he's being offered new jobs and things with more money and stuff all the time because he's doing good at what he does. But he's had a problem in the past, and we're helping him over the last 12 years or so, have helped him reconstitute his image of himself, resurrect some old good person type skills and so forth. He's got his daughter, total custody. A lot of things have gone on, which for many people would have ended their career as a regular citizen, okay? But he's a regular guy now. He's getting offers to do more things in life. As a unit, though, we're going to move as a unit together. Grandma, grandpa, granddaughter, we're all going to go together to a place that we want to do other kinds of things. We like to share what we've got. I've been down, I've lived on the dirt, I've eaten grasshoppers and things to survive in life. It's a story that's interesting, but not for now. So I want to help other people too. I want to help kids who have families who have kids like my kids. I want to do other things in life. So we're going to move from this place to a new place. He's got what it takes to move to a new place. But he doesn't have the acquired money yet. Now he will have money in the bank. He's closing in on 20,000 or whatever of money, and it's building all the time. But we saw 2 or 3 properties come and go because we don't have the money right now for the down payment. Got me so far?
Got understood.
So
Understood.
If I could get $1 million, this is a play game. I can get $1 million for this property. I can't. Let's suppose I could just for the ball game play. Hysterical laughter here in the audience out there. And a place came up for him, and he needed $100,000 for it. I'm willing to give up the $900,000, sell the shit thing here for $100,000 so we could have the down payment to get the dream. I don't care about that kind of money. So that's kind of where I was at with the Kenmore. If there's a way for me to cash out on this place, lose whatever, I don't care, quickly though. The place we last saw, ideal for us, 5 bedrooms, baths and so forth, land around it, whatever, had land going down to a creek or whatever. It was a nice place. It had room, it had things, animals. We have animals, and do the kind of things we want to do with the earth in our own winery thing, a small thing for us, whatever. It would have been nice. But of course, we didn't have the down payment. He has the credit reference, he has the money, he pre-qualified as far as how much money you need to have your pre-qualification for all those things, but there's no money to put into the offer plan to actually have it there. We could have lied, and then got caught.
Sure.
I don't like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We don't like any of that kind of stuff. So I said, Kenmore, this is what I got going. Whatever this place is worth, and I had people give me other numbers too. I said, but it's not right away. I don't care if I lose only $10,000 or $20,000 off of market value. If it's going to take 10 days, that's too long. The things we've looked at, one of them we looked at, the day we called, because it's the first day we found out about scouting all the time, it had already had a cash offer from San Francisco. They never even visited it. They just pay cash, that's it. And that's how some things go. So I just need a way to get quick money. And I don't care about necessarily saving any of the value that the place might have on the market, if that comes up. Now, that's about my son's situation, and that's moving out of uni. If that doesn't come up, then I'm staying right here.
Got it.
I'm working on some software that I'm going to turn into a thing that'll be on the internet, and my wife's got a thing going on. We're recovering from the torpedo incident that I told Kenmore all about. We're recovering from that, got some, life rafts or whatever. We're swimming around again above water now as opposed to underwater trying to hang on to whatever air bubble passes by. So... And at the same time, having gone through that kind of a problem in life, we not only want to do for ourselves, we want to give some of the things back to other people that we know are just not getting any kind of help at all. Anyway, there's lots of stories to this thing. You might be able to tell, wow, this could turn into a long story. It could, but I don't want to go into 45 minutes of other things. If the concept doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Sure, understood. So I'm kind of curious now. I know you're wanting to sell only if your son finds that new home, correct?
Right.
So if a fear of mine for you guys is what happens if your son's actively looking, say he finds a home tomorrow that he loves. What happens next?
Then, and I told Kim, since I don't know any real estate connection he said use the word investment. I don't know any investment companies that do that. That's why I said, hey, find out if the concept works. If the concept doesn't work, and I gave him a road example. Okay, I've got from point A, I'm going to point B. Okay, and there are 2 ways I can go. And I can go down one, and I find out that if I go down that road, the bridge that has to go across the major cavernous thing, that went out. So if I go down that road, if it were a concept, that road concept, that doesn't work anymore. That's not going to get me to point B. The other one over here doesn't have a road. It's another way. It does work. It's the longer term road. It's going to take a lot longer to get over there to get the money slowly saved up in the bank and all that other kind of stuff that happens. Well, that worked. That's going to work. It's just going to take longer though. And we can keep going down that road. But this new idea is I go from point A to point B down that road, and I get there tomorrow. I don't get there in 6 months or whatever. I get there tomorrow. So the tomorrow road, as far as investing company, real estate companies, and all that stuff, may not work. It may not exist. Okay, it may not exist. So I just said, Kenmore, if it exists, tell me, and tell me, because I don't need to be like some people in this situation because of the nature of this situation. I don't need to try to get as close to market value as I can. All that stuff doesn't matter anymore. What matters is I get just enough money to make the right kind of down payment on the property. Now, if that means I lose $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever, that's okay, because I'm going after the life dream. I'm not going after the profit margin or King Midas's gold, touch everything, turn to gold. I'm not worried about that. I just want to get the feeling. I like when I see a friend, I don't want my friend and I to just reach out and have cold handshakes. We may do that, but when I need a warm friend, we're going to hug. I'm going to sit and have coffee or wine or whatever. We're going to talk. You may go out and tomorrow we're throwing a fishing line in the water and sit there, don't get shit, but we'll talk all day long. I want those talks. I want those hugs. I want those embraces. I want those conversations. Life is getting too short for me. I'm in my 70s. I've seen all my family's dead and gone. Friends are good and gone. I don't want to worry about the material things. I want to be able to manage them, but I don't want them to get anywhere in the way of the fireplaces, the warm chats, the fishing line things, the hugs, the drink of beer, the talk about the ball game or whatever. I don't want anything getting in the way anymore of that stuff. A lot of people let that stuff go and they go after the money, that's fine, thinking they'll get a great life later, and they find, whoa, my kid grew up, went away, I don't know shit about my kids. A lot of things, I've talked to people who own companies in the world, they don't even know their kids. I sat around in a group of millionaires, they didn't even know each other, husband and wife almost don't even know each other. I don't want that. I would rather give up the King Midas touch and go back and have my family close to me and my friends and be able to spend time with them. So we're on the repair course, and I have in fact met more people that I really enjoyed. Gilmore was a nice guy, but I've met people lately that I've looked at them as people, as living people, things I don't know about. I'm getting acquainted with the very beginning concept of how to earthen myself up a bit and become more hospitable to enjoying learning about somebody else in life. You know,
right.
You always manage yourself. So you manage yourself so well, and you know all of the buttons and things so well that it's almost kind of like a mechanized existence. The foibles, the idiosyncrasies, the eccentricities, the mistakes, the other things, that the cracks in the veneer that kind of make the texture of life worth remembering and getting deeper into. I like that now.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way you should live life. You love the relationships and you want to be closer to your son. So it makes sense. I respect that. But I did want to ask, if your son does find that home tomorrow and he wants to offer on the home, but you guys don't have the funds for the down payment.
We'll just watch it go by again.
Oh, okay. So you'll pass up on that home and keep looking?
Yeah, we don't have what it takes to do it. We just let it go. All we can do is, it's like window shopping, real estate window shopping. Oh, they have a ground. Well, we don't have what it takes to get it. You know, if you don't have what it takes to get it, I'm not going to be able to fly an airplane. I can fly my car. I'm not going to try to get a cockpit and fly somebody's airplane. I'm not going to try to get into a real estate deal and mess with everybody's time and situation. And they all go, Brett, idiot, why didn't you know you don't have what it takes to do this? You shouldn't have messed with us, you know. I'm not going to do that. When we have what it takes to get involved, then we would actually say, if that house came up like that and we had the means to do it, then we would do the next thing of making the offers, contacting people, and trying to get the paperwork all done. I've done a couple paperwork. I've done paperwork on houses before. I've done that. I know what it takes. I've been down to the all the things that have gone on. I've done that before. So it's a bit more than just throwing money in someone's face, of course. But I can't do that to people when I know that we're going to come to a point where it would be a con job on my part to pretend that the fiction is real. We don't have what it takes. We just have to see the great place and watch the property go away. That's what we've done lately.
Interesting.
But I have a couple of people I do know. I've never done this before to embarrass myself, but I'm not worried about embarrassment that much anymore. As you can tell by the way I talk, I stumble around, I slur my words, I talk too fast and all the other crap. I do have friends who in fact are multimillionaires. And they would know, one of them, I saved their mother from a dying situation the doctors couldn't help. They got some millions of dollars. So here's the deal. You guys are doing the investment thing, what you have to do out there, but if I go talk to Janet and say, Janet, guess what? You know that your mother, when the doctors couldn't do crap, you came to me, I found a research answer that saved her life. You've got some money that came in lately. You got some millions of dollars. I will give you my house. Okay, I will give you my house. And we'll write off all the paperwork. This is what the outstanding problem is. We'll take care of that. And you can have it for just having it. All I want from you is the down payment on the house for DJ. Mm-hmm. And she would probably go, oh, that could happen. I haven't talked with her yet. It might not. But that's what I'm now looking at. I do have some friends that actually have money out there, but I don't like to talk to them about their money. The Collins people have millions in their bank accounts and things like that. That's another person I could talk to. I don't really want to bother them too much. Anyway, but nonetheless, since Kenmar called, I go, wow, it's an idea. I hadn't thought about that. Since I'm getting used to not being embarrassed anymore by being an idiot in front of people, okay? I go, well, I would talk to them. They might say, sure, what do you want to do? We'll just get it together, sign these things. My lawyers will get it all taken care of. When that happens, you do this, sign that, do that, and there's the money. That could happen.
Right.
I haven't tried it yet. I don't know that it can't. But, of course, there's always the other part of life that says, oh, Britt, no, that's an asinine thing. And that will never happen either, you know?
Right.
Again.
Interesting. So I'm kind of curious now. I want to give a possible solution because it sounds like there maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe the reason why, you're not selling right now and then looking for a home is because, you're waiting for that home. But I'm worried for you and your son because I know you want to end up, living together and sharing stuff because you love the relationship so much. What if there's a way that you could have someone to go to get the funds for your son's purchase when the time comes? Because that's something that I possibly could do.
Okay, well, that's something I saw a friend of mine. Had a mom, had some places, some multiple properties, Bay Area. she died. He got inheritance, hundreds of thousands of dollars went in his account, and a year later he's about broke because he didn't have what it took to be able to get in. He couldn't buy a house. He had a problem with his history. So they lived in hotels. I don't want to live in a hotel. I don't want to get money in the bank. If there's a way to do it, and since you said a way, of course, I haven't defined that yet, and I'm always curious about what the way might be. That would be fun. But I'm not going to sell this place and see some time frame out there, and then I can't do anything except get out of this place and have to spend any money I have living in some hotel. I have dogs, I have cats, I have animals, I have things. They're all going to have to be able to go there too, wherever that might be. Everything has to merge, like getting on a freeway the nice way. It has to be a nice, congenial, hospitable way of merging into the new lanes of investment and home residence and so forth. It can't be me just having money and a date comes up and says, well, Rick, guess what? Here's that date. Get out of the property. I used to work in a law office. I told you I managed one, and that's exactly what I did sometimes is I did the court things. I went down and I told people, guess what? Your house, I'm now taking your house from you because you owe us this money as a settlement, blah, blah, blah. And I used to do that kind of stuff. I didn't like it exactly, but that was my job. So if you have a way that money could be done, and this place could have money on the side for that event for my son when it comes up, that I don't lose residency, all my animals, it's nice to say, oh, okay, that's great. You'll be a magician. That'd be great.
Well, I might be the magician because it sounds like...
It might be. I'm not saying people are out there with more skills and cleverness than I am. Thank God they are out there. And it'll be really with a lot of problems, you know?
Yeah, because from my understanding so far, you don't want to sell because you would have nowhere to go, right? That's right. I'm not
throwing money at some real estate rental where I don't have any equity. Every time I make my payments, I see the equity margins going up. My tenure, my credits, and other things, they all keep getting better.
Got it. Because here's a possible solution. I want you to I kind of want to bounce it back with you. So right now, there is a way, like say if I were to offer on your home and you were not, like in a way that we didn't have to close on it until you actually found that home for your son. So say if your son did find that home like tomorrow, then you guys can start actually like make a legitimate offer based off of our offer that we've sent you because you know the funds are going to come, and we can close pretty quickly if as needed. So the solution would be for me to make an offer and us to possibly get something like an agreement together where it's an offer that works for you in terms of price and all that, but mainly the timeline. The timeline's everything, it sounds like, because
timeline's a critical item, right? Because like I mentioned, there are 1, 2, 3 properties, ideal, loved them, and the timelines didn't work out. We qualified for a number of things, but if we had like 5,000 in the bank, then 8,000, then 10,000, then 15,000, whatever. We have $20-something thousand around now. It's still building, but for a conventional loan, because he was not able to get conventional before. Now his credit's up in the 700s, and he's making, I forget how many $1,000. Don't worry about that a month, and he's putting money in the bank. Mm-hmm. But that's still building slowly. So if you want to, let's say, let's just use easy numbers, 20%, $400,000 house, $80,000 down, whatever, that kind of thing. You know, if you shoot those kind of ball game marginal numbers, we don't have that. We don't have that. But I know this property here does. You know, if I were to go live someplace, but if I did that now, if I follow up on I forgot what Pat, one of the friends, Pat's real estate thing, and said, do this, do that, and we'll get this thing sold this way, make you that kind of money. And suppose that all happened comfortably, and it took, let's say, a month, and then say a day after the month we found a property, we had the money in the bank, we could make it up. That'd be great. But if I do that and I leave here, who knows when that other timeline thing could come up? You know. And the other hand is, if it came up prior to the 30 days, 45 or 60 days that Pat's talking about, then I missed it again, you know.
Right.
So the timeline situation does wind up being that little interesting wrinkle in all the good things that could be just the gear that goes out on you and you can't climb that hill. You just kind of get stuck.
Right, because the thing that I'm suggesting is possibly like, let's say, it takes time to find the right home, right? And I'm wanting to see if you'd be open to something where I would make you an offer, but it had a flexible timeline in the offer. So let's say if the offer was, a 60-day timeline or whatever for your son to find a home. And if that didn't happen, we can just adjust and change. but I wouldn't want to kick you out of your home. You know, I want you to be able to transition very easily from your home to be living with your son and all your dogs and cats and all your animals. That's kind of the suggestion, the solution that I'm kind of thinking of, but I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Well, that's an idea. Of course, here's the problem. A couple of things. I talk fast sometimes. I'm always, my wife, slow down, you idiot. No one can understand you because I go, and so fast it becomes a buzz sound out there. I mean, it's in buzz language. But I can slow way down. I slow down so much that somebody says, Coma State, can you say the next word, please? So I slow down. And here's what happens when I go to the slow down state. I work in I read, and I've been the guy, managed the I work in and believe it or not, I read, and I'm slowing down, you can know, I read contracts, and I don't just fly through them, and I did go back to dictionaries, I go to Black's Law Dictionary, I go to wherever, I read the contract, and then I come up with what I think is an impression. And that impression I never trust. I don't trust me. I tell people I am, let's say pull God into the witness, God's sitting right there. I am the dumbest person that I know. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm looking at God's face over here, just hyped up. And she's going, that's right, Rick, you are the dumbest shithead you know. That's what it is. And because I am agreeably okay with that now, that means I can slow way down, which now bothers the hell out of everybody because they don't want to clarify things. Now I clarify things as I've set up all night with documents from the law office and going over them, finding out the holes where they are, finding out the language they don't use. If there are 10,000 words that should be used in this particular language X and only 8,000 are used, I want to know why the other 2,000 didn't make their appearance. I ask ridiculous questions. My college professor said, this is great, we love it, you guys are bullshit, great questions. Well, most people don't like that because eventually what that sounds like, already, it sounds like I become the enemy of the person I'm talking to because I'm relentless. I'm relentless. I would drive you crazy. Most people are driven crazy. I drive myself crazy. I had to go to the doctor because stop it, you know, you got to stop it. You're driving yourself crazy. Because I'm never satisfied with absolutely anything I've ever done. And because if I'm cool with that, that allows me to obsessively go after clarification. Now, you may say you understand the English I said, but in practice, when I do it, I've had religious people throw their Bibles on the ground. I've had insurance people get upset, slam the door away from me when I've told them, this is going to take you a while. Because I stay up for days. I've been nonstop for days with a question. I gave up everything I owned in life, family and everything, to go answer a philosophical question. And I lived out of a house, went barefoot, almost clothed, to find an answer to a question. Now that will, when it comes to that, and now I'm doing important things with my family, it's going to come to that, I'm going to be that kind of slow down molasses in a snowstorm that doesn't seem to move until I get the clarification. And I don't want to be driven crazy by that. My wife knows that I'm that way, so she can live with me. I'm lucky. But that's what I know about me. And I'm not worried about being embarrassed by it anymore.
Right.
That's what I do. That's why I've had to write the things for the law office because they weren't good enough. I had to tell the lawyer, I wasn't the lawyer, David, you didn't think this through well enough. You know, things happen. And a lot of people who don't believe what I just said laugh at it, play with it, until it catches them.
Right. Well, that...
The doctors couldn't do what they did with the cancer. After Janet Spahn's cancer, the doctors couldn't do anything with it. They gave her the terminal illness thing, and Janet came to me and said, Brett, what's going on here? I searched around and found an outfit out of the country, had something going on, and got her something that the doctor would never say could use, and she got over that. As happened to Mr. Robinson, same thing. He came in, happened to meet me. His cancer, which was 1 month away from dying. He didn't die. Next year, he was on top of his roof, 70-something years old, re-roofing his house, because I'm obsessed about certain things. And I used to fear that, but now I'm not afraid of being obsessed. So I just want to warn you up front.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But so here's the solution that I was thinking. So like say...
Right ahead. Yep, I'm listening.
Say your son found a home next week. Next week he wants to buy a home. What if we can come to an agreement, you and me, where it was something to where, it offered to buy your home and that we can close at a flexible time. So say your son finds that home a week later, you can then come to me and say, hey, we need to sell this home so that we have funds for this purchase. So it's a little bit more flexible in a way that it doesn't have to kick you out, and it allows for an easy transition for you to live with your son.
That would be great if we could do something like, Mr. Martin, I think his last name Martin. Mr. Martin
Yep.
might not have told you one thing I told him.
Okay.
I think I told him. There are two things right now that might prevent anything, no matter what. And that is, I've got two liens. One from the feds on the property and one from California on the property. Because the thing that shot us down, I told you about, I mentioned, was the torpedo incident. The business that was there, that was putting the money in the bank for us all the time while it was going on, got sued wrongly. We eventually got that cleared up. But nonetheless, it ruined everything out there. So when everything went totally to pot, I almost lost the house and everything. I almost got to live in a truck or whatever, but not quite. We did come to an agreement after audit by the state, audit by the feds and everything. They go, okay, you guys aren't robber baron people trying to scoot out and all that, but guess what? This is what we do mechanically. We now put liens on the house. I think the feds, it's about $14,000. The California Employment People, EDD, theirs is right around maybe a little less than $3,000. We pay a little bit at a time because they're uncollectible, that kind of a thing. But nonetheless, they're there. I don't know how fast that situation gets taken care of. But those aren't a lot. It's not a lot of money, of course, value for the property, but still, they are there. They could be things that might pop that bubble.
Sure. No, that makes sense. And yeah, Kenmar let me know about that.
Okay.
But I mean, something that would help would be the sale proceeds from selling your home would help you take care of that.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking too. If there were a way to do it, and Rosa DePew over at California's EDD department, she and I talked, and Mrs. Silva, the Fed lady, they're all nice people, just doing their job too, like I would do. Like when I did my thing, and I said, guys, I'm taking the house back at the law office. And that's not what I want to have happen, but that's the way the culture, society, and all the legal frameworks of what's going on, they happen. If we can work out a deal, fine. If we can do something different, great. But if we can't, this is what happens, it's going to happen this way. So they've all got their thing settled such that, and they've advised that you'll have to, even if you come to this, the lien, if we paid off the actual debt, that's not gone. The lien is still there. So a transfer of property, you have to apply to EDD, you have to apply, get them on board, they have to send their paperwork to their auspices and so forth and whatever to get that done. It won't be, Mrs. DePew said, it doesn't matter if you pay this thing off, that lien will sit there for years. They're jealous that you have to make, there's an application process, actually it's a notification process, and you have to do homework to get the lien actually taken off before it can get removed. I didn't talk to Ms. Silva what happens with theirs, but I imagine it's going to wind up being somewhat similar. Things don't go away just because you pay the financial side of the coin. It's a multi-sided coin. Financials and other institutionally embedded bureaucratic things that have to happen to take care of the actual release of lien and so forth.
Got it. No, thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate it. So, I mean, so far we talked about kind of the timeline and what you'd want, but I also wanted to ask, who else has input on the sale of your home?
What's that now?
Who else has input on selling your home?
Oh, yeah. Well, there are three people who are talking over anything comes up. My son. Okay. All of them have to agree on the idea. I'll take everything back to when I find out. They have reasons of their own why they may or may not want to. DJ one time says, I don't necessarily want to go anyplace. Well, that would change everything.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, though, because of the new job offers and things that are coming up in his location, he's working in the Merced area. That's what he's been thinking about. He has a girlfriend kind of in the Merced area. Mm-hmm. We have friends and so forth. The lady who's got the millions of dollars put in the bank, whose mother I talked to, they're in the Merced area. I was born and raised in Merced. So my hometown feeling is there still, has been wiped out, but it's still there. So my granddaughter would have a school situation better than where she's going here with the kind of school, the ambiance, congeniality, the hospitality of the people there, better than where she's at right here at this property. And I go, wow, okay, so that's a location that's friendly in the ways of, well, I shouldn't say friendly, the terminology and the syntax of language when discussion, it seemed friendly. Okay, whether it's friendly or not, we'd find out. Anyway, so we have a kind of an intuitive, internalized feeling for that location. And that's where the houses have come up, the property in the country have come up and so forth, that we would have liked to have had. And then my son said, well, I need to go anyplace. Okay. So if he were wanting to not go to a place, it doesn't matter. But he did say lately, that's why I bring it up, he did say lately that he does have a bit of a longing to leave Fresno and go to more agricultural, more open spaces, and go to some place outside where there's actually 2-3 acres, whatever, something different as far as the outside immediate surroundings of the location. Plus, I told him, I said, I've been in Fresno for a long time now.